Hey everyone, so we decided to come on and do a video about the whole AK versus Delta versus other Greeks type of, stuff. If you guys didn't know, which you should hopefully know by now, that I'm an AK and Sierra's a Delta.
Yes, indeed.
And a lot of people are always like astonished or like shocked that we work together because somehow AKs and Deltas are not supposed to get along. That is just like the running myth, right?
Right, indeed.
Yes. So I get people all the time that are like, you work with a Delta, you're an AK. As if I don't know that I'm an AK unless you're a Delta. It's right here, AK, that's an Ivy, like I know. So we came just kind of talk about how we feel about the whole AK versus Delta situation, drop a little knowledge on you. So here we go.
Okay.
Alright, so here's how the beef kind of came about, and correct me if I'm wrong, step in or whatever. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was founded in 1908.
Okay. I was waiting for that.
It's always awkward for me to say because I don't want to say it wrong,
I feel like to save face for both of us, because obviously each organization has their own rendition of how and what happened.
I do know my history.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you know your history and I know my history. And of course they're not going to be the same thing.
There's three stories. There's always my side, your side, and the truth. Right.
So instead of us going at it really like that, what it really just kind of boils down to is that you have, one organization,
another one split off, and became another organization. That's pretty much it. Right. And so a lot of people feel like because of that AK should hate Deltas because they decided to make their own organization. But I feel like when it comes down to it, and this is for all MPHC sororities and fraternities, we're all founded on service. Everyone was founded on helping, the black community, helping the world. And it's not about fighting or little petty differences like you decided to do this so I have to hate you. Like back in the 1900s, that was like, I know like for our founders, they are like one generation removed from slavery. So, back then, like black people, I feel like were not just fighting each other. Like, that was still when there was Jim Crow laws and things like that. Like white people hated, black people. I feel like back then, black people weren't just like, I'm gonna hate you for these petty reasons. You know what I mean? Right. Because people were trying to work so hard, together to like, you know what I'm trying to say?
To get to one.
Yes. To get equal rights for the black community, that they weren't like, all right, let's tear each other down.
Right.
And I think that's something that people don't understand. Like, they weren't just back then fighting. Like, I'm pretty sure they were not at Howard University like, oh, I see you, let's fight. You know what I mean?
And even if, I'm definitely not saying, but even if there was tension, I guess, that's what happens though. Like, when you have like the real source and then other people, become a part of it, your personality, your personality gets into it and stuff. Like, you shouldn't still inherit beef. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't like the AKAs because of this, and that. And blah 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 blah, like chill. Like I know when we get on stage, like that's one thing. Like I'm a fan of this because
no, we both are.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like
she'll break a mirror and I'll break a pyramid sign. But so and then we'll talk right after it.
Yeah, because that's my organization. She's not dissing me personally, and that's what you have to understand. Like I'm still Sierra. This is Jameka. She just happens to be an AKA.
Yeah,
and I happen to be.
I feel like it's for show. Like if I'm party hopping, if I'm stepping, new member show, like that's for show. Like that's the way to show your pride for your organization. But when all of that's removed and I'm just me, myself, or I'm me and my chapter, we're doing business of the chapter or the sorority, we're not like, okay, now it's time to hate Sierra because she's a Delta. Like, and people get that misconstrued. You have to separate the personal from the show, I guess.
Right.
And a lot of people, I know, like, I feel like the two of us, and a lot of times, the Greeks on our campus can understand that, but sometimes it's hard for people, I guess, that are initiated into our organization sometimes to understand that it's for show, and you don't need to take those personal, everything personally.
And what it is really, I think, is that if you weren't somebody beforehand, and then you cross, and then all of a sudden you take on the persona of the organization, and then you can't let it go. Like that's a problem. Like of course, like, I feel like anybody that's Greek is kind of the cream of the crop. Like, not trying to be funny, but there are certain requirements to even get into the organization. So you do have to meet certain things. So this is not the only hat that we wear.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, this is all that you see, this is not the, you know what I'm saying? But we shouldn't be defined by what we do. We're still who we are when all of that is taken away. So,
yeah.
Chill.
I think another thing to excuse my just burp. Ooh, sorry. See, I'm not the stereotypical AKA I'm burp.
Yay.
And that's another thing that plays into a lot of stereotypes. You know, people think that okay, all AKAs are supposed to have long, straight hair, and some people cross or are initiated, and they try and fulfill those stereotypes. If you didn't have long, pretty hair before you were initiated, then don't feel that you have to, you know, start pressing your hair out or perming it out once you join AKA. You know, that's not what it's about. And I think the same thing. I don't know everybody's stereotypes because they vary. Like, I feel like they vary, but I feel like AKA kind of stays the same regardless. They're stuck up, all those things, and that's not the case. Like, and people try and keep those stereotypes living, but I don't understand why. Like, be who you were before you were initiated. Be that person once you cross. You know what I mean? Because
it's just like a persona. It's just like it's almost like playing dress up. Like when you get on stage, like, I mean, I think I'm a real goofy kind of person, but when I get on stage, I'm Sierra the Delta. You can't tell me nothing, da. But when I'm off, I'm just nah. Yeah. Like, you gotta learn to take that.
I feel like it's the same thing with entertainers. Like, I feel like it's Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. Like, she's not Beyonce on stage, she's Sasha Fierce, and that's her, you know, her alter personality, alter ego. And then she gets off the stage and she's like a completely different person because she's Beyonce, she's normal, she's quiet. And that's kind of how it is, I feel like. And people don't know how to quite separate the two.
It's because you're not in it, and that's all that you see. But once you take all of that off, at the end of the day, we still have incorporated behind all of our organizations. So we're still a business first. Like, stepping is our pleasure, business, you know, is what we do. So,
and I think one of the biggest things too, and I'm in PhD president at my school, and we talk about this a lot, like with advisors and things like that, and conferences, is that in PhD organizations are trying to get away from service. We're founded on service. Like, sometimes people let, you know, the dissing, the party hopping, all of that take away from the fact that you were founded to do service. And so if you really think back to what, you know, in the 1900s when we were all founded, everybody they weren't stepping, they weren't strolling. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, if you just serve the community and then let everything come after that, then we wouldn't have all these issues of, have you ever seen the video? It's like, I forget what school it is, but AKs and Deltas got in a fight at a party. Like, they were like tearing clothes off.
I don't know, like, I'm surprised though.
Yeah,
like,
but you know, like, it happens all the time. Like, I went to, I think it was a Q probate at a school around here, and like, some of the Deltas from our school drove down, and then some, like, me and my sorors drove down. And so they were with, you know, the Deltas in their section, and so we go over there to like speak to them, and like all the Deltas looked at us like, what are you doing over here? And I was like, see you back at home, because apparently we can't talk at this school. Like, and I think that's just ridiculous that people let letters get to them that much that you can't even associate with somebody because they are like that. And I've had plenty of like friends, cousins, all be like, okay, I can't be an AK or a Delta because they want to fight each other all the time. And
that's not true.
It's not true, but people say that, and I think that's what stinks, because that hurts the organizations, that people are like, I'm not going to join because I don't want to deal with all the pettiness and the fighting.
And I'm going to be real, if I don't like you, it's because of you. It's not really, that sounds mean, but it's not because you're in anybody's organization. Like, if anything, I feel like all the organizations, you know, serve a good purpose, but I had to pick the one that was best for me and the one that I was best for. Like, I feel like I do better work in Delta. I'm not going to be good for nobody else. Bada bing, bada boom. So if I don't like you, it's you. But, you know what I'm saying, when you can't separate yourself from you and the persona of your organization, that's when you take it on, oh, Sierra don't like us because we AKAs, because we Zetas, because we SG Rose. No, I don't like you. I mean,
that's a good point, because a lot of times people like to hide behind their letters. They think, okay, let's say before I was initiated in AKA, I don't like Sierra. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to be an AKA. I've got letters now I'm going to hate her and be able to, you know, I'm going to fight her because she's a Delta and it's okay. Like, no. Like, I lost my train of thought. But do you know where I was going with that?
Basically saying that, like, you ain't like me beforehand. Yeah. Like, it ain't had nothing to do with the organization, like.
Yeah, don't try to put it on the organization. You didn't like me beforehand.
Try to, like, condone it. Like, try to make sure that it's okay, like.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's okay, because AKA and Delta are supposed to fight, so I can fight her now. No, don't do that.
I mean, it is a lot of history behind stuff. It is a lot of bad air. But just because we're cool, like, I feel like, honestly, and it's not to put down anybody else, you got the best of both worlds. Like, I mean, again, adults are working together.
Yes.
Is that not the best? Is that not the the?
I think we symbolize what a new age, I guess, for Black women. I think a lot of times in the Black community we try so hard to put each other down for petty reasons. And I think the two of us being able to collaborate and work together, I think says a lot about being able to let go of differences, even if they are 100 years old, you know, that we can let those differences go.